Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. So today, guys, we are so excited to be joined by some of the cast and crew of the upcoming film, The Unseen. First off, we have director Steve Merlo. Steve, how you doing tonight?
Great, man. How you guys doing?
We are doing very well. A lot better now that you guys are here.
Heck yeah. And then we have an actor, Trinity. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Yes, we're excited.
We are stoked to have you here. And for repeat viewers, you are going to know one of our homies, the amazing Crystal Gorski. Crystal, how are you doing tonight?
Thank you. I'm doing amazing. How are you guys?
We are good because now for the first time ever, Ash and I get to work with all three of you at the same time. So
yeah.
Now these are who we're going to be working with tonight, and we're very excited because Steve, like I said, is the writer director of Unseen. Trinity is playing Crystal in the film, and Crystal is playing Jessica in the film. So we're going to do a little bit here. Trinity, can you give us like a non-spoiler summary of kind of who your character is?
Yeah, of course. Crystal is at the beginning of the film just this very nice girl who has recently removed herself from a very bad situation that she's just trying to recover from a little bit. And she's picking herself up back from that. And so it's a little bit about how she's figuring herself out a little bit after that. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, sometimes we all fall down, and when we do, we got to be picked back up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Crystal, do you want to kind of give us a little non-spoiler about how your character is?
Yeah, so I'm obviously her best friend, and I'm kind of more of like the no BS best friend, and I'm trying to, lift her up.
Need one of those.
Yeah, lift her up and kind of keep her from like bouncing back to, her past situations. So
okay, nice.
Yeah.
Like
so
all
Steve,
best friends should do. Sorry.
yeah, absolutely. I said that, like I said, we all need that best friend
yes,
doesn't take your crap and just kind of like tells you what you need, not what you need to hear, but I guess
what you need to hear.
Yeah, not what you want to hear sometimes.
Yeah, what you need to hear.
So Steve, can you tell us your inspiration for this film?
Man, there's multiple inspirations when it comes down to it. Some of my inspirations came from dreams I had. Some of my inspirations came from other movies that I really enjoy. I think movie-wise, the biggest inspirations would be the original Black Christmas from 1974. Awesome. Halloween would be a secondary kind of inspiration, and some Hitchcockian types, some old Hitchcockian stuff is definitely there as well. So that's sort of my movie inspiration, but man, I get some weird dreams sometimes and some dark themes pop into my dreams, and your nightmares, you dream about stuff you don't want to dream about, and some of it's a lot darker than you wish would be, and you wake up and you're like, oh God, that was brutally dark. And
let's make a
next
movie
thing you know, you're thinking of a horror movie with it. So
right.
Like, well, that was really dark, but holy crap, this will make a good horror movie. So
yeah.
I just imagine Steve waking up in the middle of the night like, oh my gosh, that was dark. I gotta write this down.
He's sweating. Yeah, he's like, all right, that'll make a good horror movie. I scared myself.
Where's my bedside notebook?
Wish I had one.
Steve, when does filming start?
When does film? Oh, well, tentatively for, I would say mid to late October. Tentatively, it is going to depend on our fundraising, because we are crowdfunding and we are seeking independent investors as well for equity stake in the film. We just want to make sure we're filming it with the money that we really need to film it well. We're shooting it up here in Canada, and a good majority of the cast, including Crystal, is from the US, so that makes it a bit pricey for us, So.
Yeah, I understand that. So if all your ducks are in a row, then mid October.
Exactly. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
And the thing is, guys, you can help with that, because not only do I have all three of these amazing guests' social media links down in the description, I also have the link to their Indiegogo campaign. Now, with the Indiegogo campaign, not only do you have some amazing perks that you can capture for yourself, we always got to remember, it's not about what we give. Or not what we get, it's about what we give. Right. And when you're donating to a campaign like this, yes, I totally agree that you're getting an amazing thing when you're getting a signed picture or your name in the film. But the film may not happen without your generous support. So if you are able, please remember, when you're giving to an Indiegogo link, you're doing it to try to help artists create their art. And there is nothing in this world more beautiful or more special than to help people create their art. And it is always nice to get something in return.
Yeah.
So, you know, you do get that perk of getting something back. But the most important thing is, we realized during the pandemic how important indie film is to all of us.
Oh yeah, it's what kept us going.
You know, these indie filmmakers were out there on shoestring budgets, you know, and they were still working with all the codes that they had to work through. And they made films like The Sawyer Massacre. So remember that when you are out there and you are helping people to create their art, you're helping dreams come true. And you, just by donating a little bit of money, if you have the means, remember, it means the world to these artists that are trying to get their art created. So these are the type of things that we always have to remember when we have the ability to donate to an Indiegogo. And like I said, that link is right down in the description.
Yes. Trinity,
guys.
so how did you get involved with the project?
I just I found the casting announcement on a Facebook group and was like, that seems like so much fun. I had literally just got out of acting school about a month, not even a month before, but I had just come back from home at Christmas and was like, okay, let's buckle down and get to work. And then I found this almost immediately. So
Nice. Sounds like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like, oh, I'm graduating. Who knows when I'll get a job? Oh, I got a job. All right, let's do this. Cool.
Right.
Let's go make it work. And there's nothing better than working in horror. And I know people say, well, you're Sledgehammer horror. You have to say that. That's not the case. When you're working with people that are in horror, it is the most tight-knit,
Oh yeah.
closest family type of environment you can possibly get. And we've been lucky enough to work with some amazing people in the horror world. And by doing this podcast, we've been able to go and meet them and work on their sets and do things like that. And it really is a big family. So Trinity, we are so happy to have you as a part of this family.
Yes.
We cannot wait to see what you have in store for us in the film. Now, Crystal, when you are getting ready to play a character like you are in this film, you're playing the character of Jessica. What do you kind of do to help get you ready to play this type of character? Are there any certain steps that you take as an actor to get you ready to play a character?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, reading the script at least 20 times is something that I do, and I kind of just visualize every scene. And I think that really helps. And I put a lot of myself into my characters. So I try and think okay, if I was in that situation, how would I react to it? And then also we get the character breakdowns and things like that. And we can go to Steve and be like, what do you think about this idea for the character, and see how he feels. But I think it's really just knowing the material, knowing, your co-stars and their characters. It just really helps create, your character, I guess, at the same time. So I just become the character, I guess.
Yeah.
Acting is simple.
Awesome.
A big part of this is when you have a director like Steve, that is a democratic director that is willing to listen to his actors and take their input. He's not out there like, this is how I wrote it, this is how you're going to do it, and that's it, period. When you have a guy like Steve that is so open-minded, because he knows that if Trinity or Crystal or Felissa or somebody comes to him with an idea, they're not going, how can I make this movie worse? Oh, that'll be hilarious. He knows that you guys have your ideas because you want to put out the best product you can, because your name is attached to this too.
Absolutely.
So the fact that Steve is so open-minded to saying, Crystal, well, let me hear the idea you have. If I like it, let's do it. If not, maybe we could try it a different way. Always being constructive. That's the type of guy Steve is. So I'm very excited to see what you three can create in this world of the unseen.
Yeah. Steve, so what kind of tips would you give any aspiring filmmakers, starting their careers? What would you tell them?
Kind of touching on what Ken just said, just to be very open-minded, make sure you're being cooperative with your cast and crew, being open to suggestions, be willing to just learn. And if you don't feel ready to go out and just make your own stuff, you feel like you need to learn more, go and volunteer on some film sets. There's a lot of indie films that are looking for volunteers, looking for volunteer PAs. And if you're one of those people that wants to learn, you will definitely learn the hands-on experience you need being a PA on an indie film set. So, just Yeah, like you said though, Ken, being collaborative when it comes to it. Don't be one of those people like, this is not what it says in the script, so no, we
Right.
can't do it that way. I think probably at least half the dialogue for the Sawyer massacre was not what was in the script, so the actors were very good at personalizing it that way. So and I actually like that. I actually like when the whole team just collaborates very well.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes your job a little easier.
Oh, definitely.
Right. And it shows that you have people that are there, not just to, obviously with indie films, your paycheck is not something to write home about. You're doing this for the passion,
Yeah.
is what you're doing this for. But when you have people that are showing up and throwing ideas back at you, Steve, they're not just there for a paycheck. They're there for their love and their passion, and they want to put out the best possible project they can. Like, they're not like, hey, on this scene it says yes, but I'm going to say no
No.
because that's what I think. Like they're genuinely trying to make the film better, not just for you, but for themselves and for the audience.
Yeah.
So that's a lovely thing to hear, that these ladies are so interested in making something like that happen. So with filming starting in October, obviously we don't have a trailer yet, but we do have a concept trailer. So real quick, we're going to show you guys the concept trailer so you can get a look at what we have coming up.
Amy, what are you writing? Oh, God. Look what you did.
What if it's him? You don't know the lengths this guy will go to. He's in the house right now.
Amy.
All right, guys. So now you've seen the concept trailer. So now you have an even better reason to go and click this Indiegogo link and try to help to support these artists that are trying to make an amazing film.
Yes. Trinity, do you have any techniques that help you get into your character? Anything that you learned from school?
Yeah. Well, almost exactly like Crystal said, like read it like a bunch of times, like almost like you have it memorized, like the whole thing could play any character. One of my like more personal things that I love to do that I learned in school was to make a playlist for her. I'm a pretty big music gal. I really like music. So like I haven't made one yet because it's like I gotta sit down and I think it's gonna take me like a whole day. And I haven't had the time, and I'm like, I will not waste time on doing this. This is this very serious thing. So I'm very excited to do that. But that's probably my like personal thing, is like I make her a playlist and I'll probably listen to it nonstop while we're filming. So
That's awesome.
So what would be the difference between her playlist and your playlist? Now I gotta know. What would be your top 5 on your playlist?
oh my gosh, I'm a pretty big Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift.
Nice.
She's definitely like, I think all 5 of my top 5 are one of her songs. I don't think Crystal is a Swiftie.
No.
I think she'd be like a Lorde fan. Personally, I don't actually listen to any Lorde, but I guess I'll have to get into it. But
Right.
That's definitely the big difference, is the vibes are
Yeah, for sure.
like almost
I just gotta throw
shadows.
it out there. I have daughters, so I also am a Swiftie, and I thought Midnight's
Okay.
was dope.
It
The
has
3 a.m.
It has
edition.
nothing to do
was-
with your daughters.
I
Like,
mean, she's writing all these songs about me. I might as well listen to them and
Yeah.
entertain it.
Yeah,
a
they're
little
about
bit.
you.
So now, hold on. Since you brought that up, I gotta know now. We're gonna go with Steve and Crystal real quick. We'll go with Crystal because ladies first. Crystal, what would be the top 5 songs on your playlist?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. um, usually pretty good at improv, but
He's
yeah.
like, oh, you couldn't go with Steve first, huh, you asshole?
I would say, yeah, go with Steve first. So let me think.
Steve, give us your
Man,
5.
I'm old, guys. You guys wouldn't know any of the artists that I. I mean, I'm a massive Soundgarden fan. I got a
Okay.
Soundgarden poster. I don't know if you can see it there. So Chris Cornell, Soundgarden. There's gonna definitely be some Soundgarden on there. Probably, I like the deep cuts though. I like songs like "Never the Machine," "Forever." Nobody
Okay.
would know that. Chris Cornell solo stuff. "Sun Shower" is one of my favorites. I love Eagles. I love the Eagles. So I love stuff from like the Desperado album. I'm all over the map, guys. I like heavy stuff. I like country. I like heavy country. I even wrote a heavy country song a while back. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
What about you, babe? What would your top 5 be?
Oh, probably like Queen. I don't know. That is a hard one.
I mean, like if we're just saying artists,
Maybe Eminem.
I'd have to have
I
M.
like Eminem.
yeah, M would have to be on there, and then I'd have to have like some Saves the Day, some Coheed, some Ataris, and then for a little bit of a mix, I guess like Enrique. I like Enrique Iglesias.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
All
I'm an
different.
Enrique stan. Okay, like I love Enrique. Every
I
time
do not
it's like
judge.
as a kid, every time he called, I'd be like, "Oh God, here we go with this pop crap," and I'd have the CD at home. Dancing in my room. All right, Crystal, you've had enough thinking time. You got to give us something here.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like Daughtry, Eminem, Newfound Glory, Led Zeppelin, Pink
Hey.
Floyd, like a little
Nice.
bit of everything, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely a
Pink would be
mix.
in my
Oh,
top. I love
Pink. That's another artist that writes all her songs about me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd have to put some Pink on there too, since she
does.
writes them all about me.
She does.
So Crystal, we're going to stay with you on this one. What to you is the hardest part about the filming process?
I mean, I don't think the hardest part has anything to do with the actors. I think the hardest part is what we're doing right now, trying to get the support and build the film, and then marketing after. When cut happens, actors disappear and they're not marketing the film. And for me, I think that that's a huge thing. We have to continue to share and to market and to get people to see that this film has been made. So I think that's the hardest part in indie filmmaking, is just making sure everybody is just consistently sharing and just spreading the word about the film. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it's a big part of it because, like I said, once you said the clamp, cut, print it, at that point, your job is not done.
Right.
You still got to go out and do
Correct.
the promotional things. You still got to make sure that the eyes are getting on the project because,
Yes.
especially nowadays with all the streaming services we have, it is so easy to get lost in the shuffle. So what are we going to do to make sure our film is still being seen by the right people?
Absolutely.
That starts with a great idea. You guys have that. It continues with a great cast. You guys have that. And then you get to the promotional work, and the Indiegogo's and the, constant podcast and promoting, and you guys are doing that. So I have nothing but the highest of hopes for what what Unseen is going to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Steve,
Thanks,
is there
Dave.
anything that you learned from the Sawyer massacre that is going to help you with this next film?
Oh man, I learned a lot with the Sawyer massacre. I definitely learned that. I kind of always knew that we had no money to make that film, but it was the most amount of money I ever made a film with $30,000 to produce that film, 35 with post production, and that's nothing. And it doesn't go very far. So I think this would be no exception. So I'm always a shoot for the moon kind of guy, and it'd be nice if somebody gave me $1 million to make this movie, but that's doubtful that that's going to happen. And plus, I probably wouldn't want to make that big of a jump, from 30 to 35 grand to $1 million in one film. So baby steps, if we can make this movie for 100K, I'll be happy. But other things I've learned, with the Sawyer massacre, you got to be kind of careful with who you meet online. Sometimes, it's sometimes you think somebody's your friend and they're there to help you, and but then they want to cause drama, or they want to smear you, and so I've been too trusting in the past, I think, and I'm starting to put my guard up a little bit with people. So I don't want to be like, not let anybody in, obviously, but at the same time, I don't want to get screwed on the movie in any way. So
This is true. That's really unfortunate that you have to
happens.
put a guard up. But yeah,
Well, I mean, it boils down to it's not just your ass on the line,
right.
because like I said, you got Trinity, you got Crystal, you got these other people that are putting their necks on the line, and then you have one person online that does some type of smear campaign. It comes back on all you guys.
Yeah.
And you're right. We've been there too. You get too trusting with people, and I'm 37 years old, man. I ain't got time for that drama stuff. Like,
we don't need no drama.
Leave the drama for your mama.
Not my mama.
Yeah, not her, like her. So with these type of things, you guys are building something that is in a genre that is always expanding, and to me, it's my favorite genre because you cannot lock down what is a horror movie. What's a horror movie to me may not be a horror movie to Trinity, or what's a horror movie to Crystal may not be to Ashley. You can't say, well, it has to have blood. ER has blood. I don't think that's horror. It has to have death. Have you seen The Lion King? So I mean, there's all these different things that it's so hard to lock down horror.
I always say horror is what you make it.
Exactly. So with doing a film like this, what is the hardest part for you, Trinity, and trying to make sure that you are genuine in what the character is you're trying to portray?
Yeah, I think like Steve honestly has made it pretty easy, where he's created this like spectacular kind of normal girl who's not necessarily like normal, but she's a fully fleshed out character who's lived an entire life before the events of this movie even happen. And so it's actually like really easy to just be like, what would I do if I was in this wild, insane situation? I'd probably react the same way. And like the whole movie is unseen. That's the whole theme of it, is that it's so unknown, which is like one of the most wonderful parts of horror, is the fear of the unknown. Is like that's the horror of it. And so it's actually so almost simple to just be like, this is how a normal person would normally react to this crazy situation that's being presented to them, where they're fully out of like their wits and mind. So
So all I'm hearing is we're gonna have a drama prequel. Write it down right now.
Well, Steve has to dream it up first.
Yeah. So the drama prequel will just be called Scene.
Yeah.
And we'll know what happened in the prequel. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Show everything that happened before this movie.
Right. I just took away your marketing for the prequel. Damn it.
Ken, way to go.
All good.
So Crystal, is there any advice that you can give like upcoming actors or actresses that are trying to get started, trying to become an actor themselves?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest piece of advice that I can give is you're going to hear no 1,000 times before you're going to hear yes. So be prepared. And
it's just like being married.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you have to want this more than you want anything else on the planet in order for it to work, because you are going to work your butt off, and you're going to work your butt off, and you're going to take so many classes, and you're going to get all these headshots. And I mean, there's so many auditions, you're going to make so many tapes, you're going to send so many different things. But I mean, just be a good human being, treat people with respect, and work really hard, and get used to hearing no, because when you do hear yes, know that every audition is a win, right? Anytime you get that email or that email back from someone like Steve, like that's a celebration. So celebrate every single win that you have. And then when you book, that's just the icing on the cake. It's like, yes, now I get to create. Now I get to, collaborate with these other amazing artists and make this incredible film. So that would be
that's awesome. Yeah.
And that's amazing. And like I said, guys, the Indiegogo campaign, as well as their social media links, are down in the description. And the best part of that is with the Indiegogo, you can help to create this film and get it started. With their social media links, you can follow along and see the progress on where it's coming up with the film. So we're going to do a little roundtable final thoughts discussion here. Steve, and I hate to put you guys on the spot like this, but like we said, Indiegogos, things like that are a dime a dozen now. With all the streaming platforms, everybody is, trying to make a film and trying to make a horror film and a short film. why should people help Unseen? What makes your project, now I don't want to say better than anybody else's because it's art. Everybody's art is equal, but what makes your project so much more special?
Good question. I think for me, it's the idea of getting into the mind of somebody that you never actually see fully in this film, and you know, seeing what he sees is one thing, but actually getting into this person's mind, you know. So I don't think a film really, no other films really quite do that, is to put you into the antagonist's mind. And so I think that kind of separates us a little bit. It's definitely something different, something that's never quite been done quite like this before. And you know, anybody who's ever been close to the edge, I think this will affect them.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Trinity? What would your reason be?
Oh gosh.
She's like, I'm in it.
Yeah, right. I'm in it, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'd say to everybody who knows me. I'd say, honestly, I'd just say, like, as someone who's like pretty connected in the up and coming community, like I went to school with a bunch of people who are becoming the next creators. And like I'd say this film has gotten farther than half the films ever do. Most films die on somebody's computer in a PDF on their desktop. And this is already it's got a full cast. We've got, I don't even know how much we've raised at this point. Like, we're closer than most people get. And I think that's a good enough reason in and of itself, is that like we're way closer than most people.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you want to see us hit the finish line at this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
And be a part of it.
We definitely do.
Like I said, not only hit the finish line, but be that cup of water that they grab a mile before to keep them going towards that finish line. So what about you, Crystal?
Yeah, so I guess I'll tell you why I wanted to be involved in any of Steve's films. So I found the Sawyer Massacre through an actor that I had worked on a different project with, and I watched it the day that it came out, probably like 3 hours after he put it up. And I absolutely loved the film. Like, I had to watch it 3 or 4 times, and I just started sharing it all over social media. And at this point, I didn't know Steve whatsoever, added him on Facebook, got the rest of the cast on Facebook because the cast was excellent. And I was like, Steve and I ended up talking eventually, I think a few weeks later. He thanked me for sharing. And I was like, you know, I would absolutely love to work with you, because the quality, the story, just everything about the Sawyer Massacre was just so amazing that that went right onto my vision board. Need to work with Steve Merlo. So like that to me, like, I know that he's going to put as much passion as he did, and as much blood, sweat, and tears as him and the cast and crew did in the last film into this film. So it's going to be amazing, you know. So that's my reasoning, you know, and I think other people will see that too. So.
Oh, thank you, Crystal.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been a big fan of Steve's for a long time as well. We worked together a couple years ago on my first horror movie episode in the preparation for Sawyer Massacre. And I fell in love with the film, and that's when my respect for Steve went through the roof. And it's been an amazing journey to watch him continue to grow from where we both were a couple of years ago. And, you know, luckily we've both been watered and we've been growing a little bit. And it's nice to see how far Steve's come, you know, from the Sawyer Massacre, which was an amazing film, you know, but then to go from that to your own original idea. I'm very, very excited to see what you can do. Because I'm not saying the Sawyer Massacre wasn't an original idea.
Right.
The idea of the film was original, but you were able to build on what was already done with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and just make it your own style. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what those nightmares have created.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Remember, guys, we are at the end of the third act now.
Yeah.
The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, if you don't have the means to help out with the Indiegogo campaign,
share.
At least share the Indiegogo campaign. Make sure you're following these wonderful people on social media as well.
Yeah, and Trinity, make sure that you keep us updated on your list that you make. I'm curious to see her.
Yeah, we're gonna have to listen to your royal playlist so that way we can get into the mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So panel, please don't go anywhere. We got a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel more than you could ever know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. All our links are down in the description as well. And until next time, keep talking horror,
Stay who you are.
and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.